Hello, my name's John. This is one of my Grey Knight conversions, and you're watching War Games, Models and Other Hobbies. Hello and welcome back to another video. A few videos ago you would have seen me convert this Grey Knight out of parts from my bits box. I'll leave a link in the description for anyone who hasn't watched that. This week I'm going to be converting another Grey Knight based on the push-fit Sternguard veteran you get with the Leviathan box set. So I've actually pre-prepared a lot of the parts for this, so I'll run through each part and then we'll compare it to the finished model itself. So I've got a convenient little box that I've got all of the parts in. The first thing we'll put together is the main body. So let me get the parts for that out. So what I've done first is the Aquila along the front of the armour. I have removed that by filing it and sanding it off. I've then also removed the holster from the side here, which I'll cover up later on, and the back, nothing's changed on that. So first things first, let's stick this together. Now I've been working on a few Grey Knights recently. I will do a later video to show you all of them when I've completed a squad, but it's quite nice making a whole series of models that are just from my bits box. So obviously I've bought all of the parts over time, but I haven't had to buy a new Grey Knight set or anything. It's all bits from old kits that I've had, things that I think look right for the aesthetic that I'm going for, and it's using up all the parts from my bits box. Seems to be a running trend with this month's videos that most of the things I've been working on are using up old models and that kind of thing. So let's make sure that goes in the right place. So there we have this body. So what I want to do is add a few of the details to it. So I have for the chest plate, let me just pick this up from the Grey Knight set. It's a little open book. So what I'm going to do is trim off the top of the book. It did hang from, I think it was from a backpack. Trim that off, and that's going to get stuck to the front of the breastplate. And what I'm going to have to check is that the back is nice and smooth. So I'm going to put a little spot of glue in the middle there, and then I'm going to pick this up with my scalpel blade, put it in place, and then just make sure I position it in the middle of the chest, and then just going to run some glue around the edge. So there is the new icon on the chest plate. Then I also have a little pouch from the Grey Knight set, but you could use one from any of the Space Marine sets. So let's see how this fits. So as you see, I've done a lot of the trimming away of different details and things, just as a bit of an experiment with this video to see if you don't mind kind of watching all of the processes taken out of the video. So I'm putting together the model after doing all of these kind of different things. If you'd like to see all of the things being done in the video, drop it in the comments, or if you do like a kind of this style of sped up video because I've done all the things beforehand, chuck that in the comments as well. I like doing a variety of videos, and I'm aware I don't get tons of views, but to those people who do watch them, I do appreciate it. So what I will be doing as I put this together, where I've got a few little bits of detail that are a bit messy, I'm going to cover those up with purity seals, and I'm just going to stick this onto a base for now, just so it stays stood up. So there we have the original Space Marine, and now this Grey Knight conversion slowly appearing. So next thing I want to do is put the gun in place. Let me just get all the parts out for this. So I have 2 Grey Knight shoulder pads, and then I have the original heavy bolter arm and the arm holding it. I have shaved off the edges of the shoulder pad here, so the new shoulder pads fit over the top. I do have an old video on replacing the shoulder pads. I'll drop that in the description as well. I may do a new one soon if that's the kind of thing people want to see. But what I do want to do is replace the end of this heavy bolter with the end of this Grey Knight's weapon. So first thing that I'm going to do, I'm going to trim the bottom off there and here, and because it's an interesting piece, I'm going to keep hold of it. So although I'm using up all the bits from my bits box, I am filling it with other interesting pieces as I go. And let's just tidy that up. And then I'll stick these parts together. So although with the push fit ones you don't have to stick them together, I do tend to like making sure that the seams are all kind of glued in place, just so they hold a little bit better. So now that's there, let's just gently tidy that up, clean the front of this a bit more. I'm going to run a little bit of glue into there. So while that glue's going off, I'm going to take the end of this off. I basically want to take that section to keep. So what I will do, rather than trying to cut it, I'm going to trim it with my clippers, and then come back with the knife just to make that a little bit more level. Let's just move some parts out of the way so you can see this a bit better. And I'm just going to be as careful as I can when I do this and just shave a little bit off at a time. I only have one of these, so I want to be quite careful as I do this. And making sure I don't ruin it in any way. So yeah, I have worked on a few other Grey Knight conversions recently, which follow all the same kind of routes that I took with the first one, but I will in a future video run through what I've done with them, because it's quite a nice interesting project that I've worked on. So now seeing that there, I'm going to have to take off that little top section there, which I'll just snap off with my hand there. So let's put a nice drop of glue on there. put this on. I'm going to have to clean up a few little bits when the glue dries, but let's just get a nice little seam. Glue around that. I have moved that slightly. So while making this, I've kind of completely forgotten the name of the weapon, but I'll put it up on the screen. Okay, that's kind of like that. Yeah, that works. What I will also do though, I'm going to take off the pipe work from the handle, so it's going to look a bit more reminiscent of the Grey Knight one, except slightly bulkier. And the reason why I'm kind of doing these conversions, I know that Grey Knights don't have any Primaris Marines that we know of, but I'm not mad anymore on the old scale of them compared to Primaris Marines and the newer ones. They kind of, it does look out of place. So I'm just going to put these on with the push fit. So there we have that in there, and what I will do, I'm just going to gently drop a little bit of glue in the back of the arms there, and then on the wrist as well to hold that in place. So now that's there, let's get the two shoulder pads. So I've got two Grey Knight Terminator shoulder pads rather than the normal infantry ones, just because I think the bulk of them, it kind of works with what I'm going for with this look. Ooh, a little bit too much glue, that's alright. So always be careful when you're using the thin plastic glue, because it can run quite a bit if you're not paying attention, like happened just then. Key thing is, try not to touch it. It will make the plastic quite soft, so you want to make sure you can let it evaporate without touching it. As these are bits box models, I'm kind of not worrying too much. Oh, I've done it again there. I'm rushing a little bit here. I should take my time a little bit more. But for now, that's okay, that's kind of working. So there we have those shoulder pads. And I've got a load of different purity seals that I'm going to stick on in a minute. But as we let those dry, let's have a look at the backpack that I'm going to use. So that is one of the original Grey Knight backpacks. Obviously, it's got a different fitting on the back. So all I'm going to do with this is paint it with a little bit of glue, and then put that on that flat surface. Now the thing is, I've noticed, which I really quite like, whoops, let's try that again. The thing I've noticed, which I think works really well, is using the original backpacks rather than the Primaris scale backpacks actually makes the scale of these not look necessarily as large as the Primaris Marines. So you do get that kind of hint of still firstborn Grey Knights rather than Primaris Marines. So I've now got one of those blade guard heads, which are really quite nice to sit in as Grey Knight heads. Let's put those in. I'm probably missing some mould lines while I'm doing this, but I can always tidy them up afterwards. There we have. And just there. Okay, let's see what other little parts I've got to add. Well, actually, let's compare to the original. So there is the original heavy bolter wielding Stern Guard veteran, and here is the Grey Knight heavy weapon operator. It's turning out how I kind of wanted it to, which is good. So next thing I want to do, I need to add, I'll bring in the previous conversion, I need to add some shoulder shields. I can't remember the name off the top of my head. I've got a few different ones that I've got here, but I think I'm either going to go with the sculled shields with either one notch or two notches out the side. So I'm going to have a little look at what it looks like. So let's carefully pick that with the spike of my scalpel. That's either going to go just there, which would also cover up that little glue mistake that I had. Don't think it will work there, so I think I will put it in there. And I think I will stick with this one, just because that cutout fits quite nicely with the shoulder pad. And I'll save the other one for another day. So what I'm going to do is a little bit of glue just on the back here. Well, I'm not too sure exactly what happened there. I uploaded this video and it was fine, but then from around the 16-minute mark, all of the video was lost and there is only audio. So who knows, maybe it's the Inquisition trying to stop me from showing you how to make these Grey Knights. I want to quickly run over the bits that you've missed because that video's disappeared. Not much else happened in the video. I've managed to put on this shoulder shield, making sure that the character can look over the top of it or just past it, just for that little bit of realism. And then I've added purity seals. So we've got one just on this side on the leg, hiding some of the missing detail after bits were removed. And then on this side, I wanted to decorate this shoulder pad with quite a few, just to kind of add a little bit of character to the model themselves. But yeah, other than that, nothing really else happened in the video. Like I said, don't know why it disappeared, apologies for that, but I hope you've enjoyed the video. Just give you a nice little look for this model. I really like this one, the heavy weapon and the bulky shoulder pads on this one I think work quite nicely. But yeah, stay tuned for the next video. Thank you so much for tuning in. My name's John, and you've been watching War Games, Models, and Other Hobbies.